Welcome back. Now we're going to the cotton section of our fabric. Since we're working on the multiple pleated gele, so we'll be using the ashoke. The ashoke is used for multiple pleated gele. Now you can use your sego for multiple pleated gele. You use sego or the haze fabric for the simple pleated auto gele. So let's get to work with the cotton. So I'm sure you can see the calculated measurement for the cotton of our fabric. So let's get to work, using those measurements. Okay, so in every pack of ashoke you have about 8 awe. It is called awe because this is actually woven, hand woven in Nigeria and the western part of Nigeria, in Ilorin and Iseyin. That's what they do. That's what they weave this. So it has about 8 awe. So we'll start our measurements from the beginning of this. Okay, this is a pack of ashoke. We're making the multiple pleated otogele, so we need a pack of ashoke to make one otogele and one ipele. So if you have old ashoke at home that you want to use for your otogele, you will need at least the gele and the ipele, which is about 6 awe. So you need about 6 awe for your otogele. So for making an otogele from a pack, you get one otogele and one ipele. Okay, let's cut now. So following the calculated measurement you have, the first measurement we're going to take is 55 inches. So measure 55 inches away from this cut and loose end. Measure 55 inches. That's the first measurement. 55 inches is the first one we'll take. 55 inches. Yes, this is 55. Then I'll cut. The second one is 19, and 19 is the exact measurement used, but we'll have to add 1 inch so as to give allowance for loosening, because the fabric loosens before you even get to lock the edges. So but what I advise for beginners, I advise that you leave 1 inch on both sides. For me, I can leave just 1 inch, that is ½ inch on both sides of my measurement. But for beginners, I advise that you do, for 19, do 21. That means you're leaving 1 inch on both sides. So for this, I'll just do it in the measurement that work for you, which is 21. That is 1 inch on both sides. So that just in case the handling, if you don't handle it well, it will loosen, but you have enough allowance for the part that loosens. So now we started with 55. The next one is our 19 turn 21 because of the allowance. So you have to place your 19 on the 55 because it is in this arrangement that to be sewn. So you have to arrange it this way. As you cut, you arrange on it. So the next one after our 19 is our 20. So our 20 plus 2 inches is going to give us 22 inches. So I'm measuring 22 inches now. The 2 extra inches added to the 20 is for the loosening allowance, the allowance that will loosen before we lock our fabric. So by the time you get better at working, you might not need to put the 2 inches. 1 inch is good. Sometimes I even do exactly I work with the exact measurement, especially when I'm making it immediately, so I don't have to put that losing allowance. So now I'll place the 20 on the 19 immediately. So because I have to keep that arrangement so that I don't have to use a tape rule to take measurements when I'm ready to stitch the fabric. So the next one is 21. Then 21 plus 2 inch of our loosening allowance gives us 23. So I'll cut 23 now for my loosening. Extra 2 plus the 21 gives me 23. So I'll cut 23. Then after 23, the next one is, after 21, the next one is 23. So if I'm measuring 23, I'll add 2 inches to it. That will give me 25. So 23 is the actual measurement we want to take, but because we are going to add our loosening allowance, that will amount to 25 inches. So I'm going to cut it at 25 inches. So you place it on the last cut fabric. The next one is 25 inches. For the 25 inches, we'll add 2 extra inches for the loosening allowance. That will amount to 27 inches. So 27 inches. Here we go. Hope you're having fun. You know, you should try this out. It's not as difficult as it looks. It's very easy and it's fun. So the next is 27 inches. So I'll just do 27 inches right now. So but for the 27 inches, don't forget that we'll always add our loosening allowance, which is about 2 inches. So that will amount to what? Yeah, 29 inches. So yeah, I have 29 inches here. So I just cut from that point. So 29 inches. Here we go. So 29 inches is ready. It's placed on the 27, which is the 27 inches. Then we do the last one, which I call the top of the crown. That is the 45 inches. For the 45 inches, it's actually 42, but you don't need to. So you don't need to add the extra 2 inches for loosening. But I say that if you are not really careful, just put 2 inches. You know, put 2 inches, and then you can cut off the excess later. Because if I'm working, for me, I can do 42 to 43, but because the fabric loosen as you're working, before you lock it, it's just better you do your 45 or 45 plus 2. So I'm trying to take the measurement for 45 inches. So this is 45 inches. So I just cut it there. So I can put 2 extra inches for the loosening allowance just in case, but by the time you do your first gilly, you see that really there's no need for the excess 2 inches for the last one, for this last top of the crown. So now we have a measurement of 8 layers of fabric. Now if you want it higher, like for a bride, you can add 1 extra. That is before you put your 45 inches, you add 1 extra, and that extra can be, it will be 2 inches. Since our last measurement before 45 was 27 inches, so the next one will be 29 plus 2, which will amount to 31. That is if you want it higher. So if you want to have it 9 layers, you put it before the top of the crown. This is the top of the crown, which is 45 inches. So now if we want to make this higher, we'll add 1 to the other layers before the top of the crown, which is 45. Then we'll add 2, which is you know, the one before the 45 is 27 inches. So we'll measure 29, which is 2 inches plus. Then we'll add the loosening allowance. So it's going to amount to 31. So for if you're making an auto gilly for a bride, so the last layer, which is the 8th layer before the top of the crown, which will become the 9th layer, is about 31 inches. So I'm going to be working on 8 layer of for my auto gilly. So now I'm done cutting. So we'll move to the stitching section. Come with me. Okay, now we're going to the stitching, but before we stitch, I want to explain to you the stitching arrangements. So this is the pile of 8th layer of ashoke. Now I'm starting from the 55 layer. Now the 45 layer is underneath, is at the last part. So I'm starting from the first one we cut, which is the 55 layer. So this is the 55 layer of a fabric. So now to arrange my fabric in such a way that I will stitch easily, first I'll fold the 55 layer into 2 equal half. This is the notch part of the ashoke. I just cut it off. So I'll fold the ashoke, this layer, the 55 layer of ashoke, into 2 equal half. Then I'll take the next layer, which is the one that is 19 with 2 extra inch for loosening allowance. I'll fold it into 2 equal half like this. The reason why we do this is to get the exact point where to attach, because your 19 is supposed to be stitched to your 55. So it's for you to get the exact point whereby you attach it, so that it's not tilted to one side and to one side. So this way, as you can see, I have my 55 folded into equal half, then the 19 folded into equal half. So see what I do. I just turn this over to this side. I have my half, the middle, and then I turn the 55 over to this side. I have my half and middle. So this way I'll pick the 19 and place it on the thin edge of the 55 like this. Then I can stitch. I can use a pin to secure it so it doesn't move. So when I get to the sewing machine, I will stitch it that way. So I only need to stitch one end, hold one end together. Then while I stitch, the other one will just fall in place. So it's the same procedure that is used, but there's a little bit of variation. After I do the first one, the next, that is after I do the 55 to the 19, the next one, don't forget that our 19 is now about 21 because we added 2 inches, which is the loosening allowance. So permits me to call it 19. So the next one, which is supposed to be our 20, and the 20 with 2 inches loosening allowance. So now you don't have to fold this into half, just the way we did the 50 and the 55 and the 19. So this one, you just place it, you try to set it on the 19 in such a way that you should have equal fabric, equal fabric on both ends of the 19. So this is our 19. So now I'll place this in such a way that what the excess fabric I have on one end equals to the excess fabric I have on the other end. So then I'll place it on the 19 and probably use a pin to secure it. You don't have to do this now. You can stitch the first one, which is the 55 and the 19 together. Then you come back and do this one. You don't have to use your pin to hold everything before you stitch. But I'm just using this to explain, because when I start stitching, I will not have to come up and do this measurement. So this way, I'll just take this to my machine and then stitch with the sewing machine. So if you don't have a sewing machine, you can get one of this Aboki, those ones that carry mobile sewing machine. They can help you stitch together. Just make sure you hold it just the way I held it together and give them so that they can stitch for you. So the last one that needs the half measurement, that one that like we did the 55, that you need to like fold into half, is the last layer, which I call the top of the crown, because this whole is the crown. So the top of the crown, that one you need to fold into equal half and then attach to. So we'll go on to stitching right now. Okay, welcome. We're moving to the cutting of the base now. The base is the part that is on the head directly before you place the crown. So now let's cut the base. So for the base measurement, we have 23, 223 and 225. I mean, you cut 23 twice, then you cut 25 twice. But don't forget, for beginners, you need to leave 1 inch on both sides for loosening allowance. So that means for our 23, we'll be cutting 25 twice. For the 25, we'll be cutting 27 twice. And this is for the rounded base. We have the cross base, that is the V-shaped base, and also we have the I call it the zigzag base. So for those ones, their measurement is different, and as we progress, we'll do the base for those other ones. But for now, we're working on the rounded base, and so I'll be measuring 23 twice with the losing allowance, which is 1 inch on both sides. That amounts to 25. Okay, so let's go 25 inches. Yes. So since I'm using 2, I want 2 of 25, so I'll fold in and then I'll fold in then cut. So it's the same 25 inches I measured on the first one that I'll use for the second 25. So I'll just fold in and cut. So I've added the loosening allowance to this, to the 23, that amounts to 25. So I'll cut it. Don't forget that this is the base cotton measurement. The crown, we are done with the crown, so this is the base. So I'm going to place the 25 together on the table. Then the next one is to cut the 25 with two extra with two allowance, 1 inch on both sides allowance. That will amount to 27. So it's 25, but I'll leave 1 inch on both sides for loosening allowance for beginners. So this is 27. So I'll just put 1 inch on both sides, fold it into 2, since I need 2 of this for my base. So this is 2 of it for my base. So I'll cut it out. So this is my 27, and then I have my 25. Don't forget that the 25 is actually 23 and the 27 is actually 25. So I'll just stitch this together. I'll stitch the 25 to the 25, then stitch the 25 to the 27 after switching the 27 to each other. So that way I'm going to have this. This is what it's going to look like at the end of the day. It's going to look like this. So this is the 225 and this is the 227. So I will attach it. You can see the extra 1 inch on both sides, that, you know. So this is what it's going to look like by the time I'm done joining the base together. So let's get on with stitching. So let's stitch.